check on the phone. See what it looks like. Oh, I should probably change the name on this. Oh, I should probably change the name on this. Oh, I should probably change the name on this. Ace, are you there? Can you hear me, Ace? Oh, I should probably change the name on this. Ace, are you there? Can you hear me, Ace? I should probably change the name on this. Ace, are you there? Can you hear me, Ace? I should probably change the name on this. Let me do this. All right, here we go. So let me get this fired up, and a little treat for you folks that are watching. Elix suggested slash requested that I do House Party versus Slombo at the same time as doing the program game today. I think that's a very reasonable request. We have not got to stream House Party yet, and even though we have streamed, excuse me, House of Slombo, they are a really good team to watch, and much like in our second game today, we're seeing Church of the Holy Zone again, but against Cybertron slash GE's LSU Tigers. So let's see if I can get this set up. Let me quickly check my messages here. Let's make sure I can hear you, but I do not have any to work. Yeah, so Ace, let me see. Let me get Ace hooked up because if Ace can join us and do some commentary, that would be cool. And if we wait a few minutes to get started on the games, that way we won't have to worry too much about the game, the AI getting caught up. So let me see here. Let me look at my phone. Go into the call there. Let's see. Hey, Adder, I see that you're in the voice channel. Can you hear me? You probably can hear me. Um, are you just watching, or are you gonna kind of chime in from time to time, Adder? If you could just let us.
I'll probably be chiming in from time to time.
Perfect. Good. You are good. I can hear you. Um, so Ace should be able to do this. He's in the call with us. He can hear us, or at least very least he could hear me. So I suppose he could hear you, but he's having a difficult time getting the GLB2 Academy voice channel so that we can hear him. So let's see if we can help him, and then we'll start watching these games. And I'm so excited to have people joining us. So let me go into here and see. Connected on another. That's connected on another client. I just want to see here why we can't hear him. because we should be able to hear him. Let's see.
You might have something set in Discord for push to talk or something.
Yeah, let's see if we can find that and help him out here. Let's see here. So, I'm not sure. Does it show this, or is it just still showing the other? This is showing the way it's set up. I'm just showing the GLB2 thing, so he's not seeing my screen here. Let's see. He should be able to if we're in. Oh wait, is it on the settings? User settings, maybe. Let's see. Connections, friend requests, billing, app settings. It's under voice and video, maybe. So, Ace, on Discord in the GLB2 Discord, right? If I'm doing this on my computer, but you should be able to do it on your phone as well. Where did I see that?
I got him.
You got him? All right, cool.
Yep.
All right. If you can help him, that would be a huge help for me. And I will get the games fired up, and then we can go. All right. Sounds like Ace is working on it. So in the meantime, he can just listen, and hopefully he'll be able to get it to work so he can join us. So here we go. Let's see here. This will bring up Bay Area's best versus the program. I'll let the kickoff go, and then I'll set up House Party versus Grape Apes with Flambeau. And the Grape Apes. All right, perfect. So, for anyone that might be watching this now with us, or if you're watching the video later on, these two games that we're going to stream at the 1 o'clock hour right now, 1 Eastern Standard Time, are pro tier games. We only have one league in the pro tier, so all four teams that we're watching today, the two games, are all in the same league. And it's a, let me see here. Yeah, so four pretty competitive teams in the pro tier. So with that said and done, the program is my superstar team that was built with the assistance of my network of in-game friends and coaches and agents and players. We kind of came together to build a super team. They kind of came together to build a super team for me, and we set up a forum, and there's a lot of give and take on builds. So the program is a pretty decent team. On the other side of the pitch, we have Bay Smash Rocks, Bay Area's best builds, and I got to take a brief moment to give Smash Rock some kudos. He did a very good job in the beginning with his best builds, and struggled a little bit with teams like the program and Grape Apes. But the community, he reached out to the community, and the community answered, and I've seen a lot of improvement. He started out pretty solid, but he is amidst the ranks of really competitive teams. So, not gonna lie, a little nervous for this one. And I'll talk more about the other two teams after we see the program's first possession and Bay Area's first possession. With that said and done, Outer Fist is on the call today, as is Ace of Spades. So if either of you want to interject at any time, please feel free to do so. In the meantime, to avoid total radio silence, I will be commentating on the game, but that does not mean that you guys can't chip in. Please do. Here we go.
I'll definitely be hopping in when I see something that I want to bring up here. So,
All right, so it looks like Bay Area will start with the ball, right, and try to run the ball outside for a 0-yard gain. Bring it up 2nd and 10. On 2nd down, they are going to drop back to pass. Well covered, bringing up 3rd and long. We'll see what they do here. They are going to pass, and they pass for 9 yards. That's going to make them short because wide receiver Wallace Rice is met and promptly tackled by cornerback Dermy Jermy to save the conversion. So they should be punting here, as they will be. And we will get to see the program's first possession. Not much of return by fullback Evan Niedermeyer, but not horrible field position for the program to start the game. Going to drop back to pass, looking for his superstar tight end Rob Gronkowski, completed for 18 yards and a first down. This time, they are going to run with their superstar. Program will run with their superstar halfback Darnell Jefferson, who picks up a nice 5-yard gain. Going play action. Incomplete. Going to bring up 3rd and 5. Dropping back to pass. Oh, bummer. Rob Gronkowski drops what would have been a first down if he could have held on to it. So the program will punt. We'll do the punt, and then we will go to our second game and look at talk a little bit about the house party and the Grape Apes. Here we are. And so this was the return. Let's watch the punt again. We have seen, if any of you have watched all of the recent streams, we have seen Grape Apes play one game before. This is our first time streaming House Party. As I had said the other game, all 4 of these teams are competitive in a very tough and competitive professional tier league. Apes will start with the ball. And they will try to throw, and it will be incomplete.
That's really ambitious running a 0-edge blitz against Grape Apes.
I was just thinking that same thing myself. You're gonna
get one broken tackle up the middle, and it's gonna go for 50 yards.
Yeah, I mean the only thing I could say was if House Party scouted Grape Apes enough, and they're like, we don't normally do this, so hopefully by doing this, it might surprise Grape Apes. Of the 2 teams, again, both are really good teams. Grape Apes kind of goes back and forth with the program for the number 1 team in this tier. Both house parties right now, it's looking like the number 3 because we got Grape Apes and program alternating 1 and 2. I think that house party is number 3 in the league, and then BABBs is right in the middle of the pack. So this was a sack, an 8-yard loss, and
so we should see a run here then, probably an outside or an inside.
Exactly, and the reason why people do that, folks, is because if you're known to pass on 3rd and long, defenses are going to just dial up the heat, and you'll be lucky if you don't get strip sacked. Even at this level,
it's easier to run up the middle, maybe get a yard or 2 and then punt, as opposed to take a sack and put them in a good position.
A sack, or like we said, much worse strip sack. Not only a change of possession, but really good field position. All right, so we get to see the house party on offense now. They're going to try to run off tackle. And is that a 5? I just want to quickly see. Are they using their are Grape Apes using their 5? Because they are Grape Apes. What makes the Grape Apes unique is their defense. I didn't show you folks this, but their defense is like all superstars. They've got like 11 superstars on defense. And to pull that off, they are going with a 5-2 against a lot of most if not all of the formations. That has made them a wee bit susceptible to these off tackle. I found that it's made them a little bit susceptible to these off tackle runs, like House Party ran on first down. Going back outside, their superstar
You just checking in if you can hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Is this
I can
Ace?
hear you.
Welcome aboard,
I'm
Ace.
here.
Great to have both you and Adder joining us today. Please, as I was saying earlier, I'm just going to call the game to avoid radio silence. But if you have questions or suggestions, or you can add in any way, it's for me, it's fully enjoyable to have more than just myself streaming the game. So I'm grateful that you guys joined me today.
I'm currently calling in from work, so I'm going to have my finger over the mute button just in case there's a phone call that it comes in, and I won't disrupt the game. So I'll keep it. I'll keep myself muted until I actually want to say something.
Sounds great. Thank you. So another outside run by House Party, and another first down.
And this is really dangerous, running that counter strong like that. This is something that the defensive line of the Apes can just absolutely blow up with little to nothing that House Party will be able to do with it, especially once we get later in the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't like when I play against Grape Apes. One of the things I try to have several things that I do so they can't just scout me and try to shut it down. Like I said earlier, off tackle runs have been good for the program versus Grape Apes, but I don't run even with our halfback Darnell Jefferson. I don't run the counters against Grape Apes. Going to go to the air this time on second.
You really have to have a good offensive line to block while your H-back's doing a counter. So I try to stay away from the counters as well.
And I mean, if you think about it too, it takes more time, for that play to develop. Because you're coming one way and then you're countering the other way. And again, you guys didn't hear me the first time. Grape Apes defensive line is all superstars. It's not. They're well built, but they are well built superstars. So it's a total advantage for the Grape Apes when you run a play such as the counter. So they're going to have to try for the field goal. It looks good. It is good. So House Party will be the first to put points on the board. I think, I could be wrong, but I think that the House Party were the very first team to beat the Grape Apes. Because of how well built they are and all the superstars on defense, I think the Grape Apes have like maybe over rookie, sophomore, journey, and this far into pro. So that's 4 seasons. I bet you. I know they have less than 10. I know they have less than 10 losses total. They might have more than 5 because Journeyman is a tough season, tough to play because you got to play all those games against pro teams. But if I remember correctly, both the House Party, I believe, were the first ones to ever beat Grape Apes, and is that Grape Apes, even during their journeyman season against pro teams, um, still beat more pro teams than they lost to. I could be wrong, but my memory should be right. So let's stay with this game, and then we'll watch another possession from both teams here, and then we'll go back to the program. So let's see if Grape Apes can respond as they are down a field goal, still in the first quarter. Going to run up the middle with their stud halfback Slombo number 5 for a 7-yard gain. Going to bring up.
This is what I was saying. That's super ambitious. That's going to be every single run where they're leaving that middle open like that.
Now, I will give House Party their due. I mean, they are a pretty well built team. Their coaching staff does a nice job calling games. So we kind of know, those of us that have been playing in this league, right, against the Grape Apes, against the program, and it's a small league, like I said. If people aren't shaking things up, and we know that Grape Apes are going to pound you with Slombo number 5. There are certain things, I mean, you can do build wise and call wise. But like you were saying, some of the calls that they've called so far, very, very ambitious. But again, I think you have to do that if you're going to, if House Party on paper is going to beat the Grape Apes, they need to do something a little bit different, and they got to take that risk. I don't think you can play a conservative game and beat Grape Apes. They'll just wear you down.
And the drawback is House Party has 7 agents or players from 7 agents who are inactive right now. So who knows?
That makes it
when's the last time they added to their SP, right? So they might be a little bit shorthanded, even though they do have some stars in our team.
Yep, I totally agree. I didn't get to take a close enough look. Usually I do a little bit of homework before these games. I was not able to do that. I was up to like the wire. I was up against the wall planning for my program game versus BABBs. So I did not look to see for inactives and all of that. But it looks like another stop here.
That's why you've got us here. We back you up.
Yes. The Grape Apes do move the ball, and they are very, very confident of their defense as they should be.
And Grape Apes is a team where if the other team only has 14 points, it's going in the Apes' direction. That's the kind of game they want to be playing.
Agreed. I think
that's a really good run.
I think that House Party has the potential, though, to put up more than 14 points, even against this stingy Grape Apes defense, because of the style of their play. So I think that the Grape Apes need to be against the House Party. They need to be a little more aggressive offensively than they are against most of their opponents. I think that it might be a mistake if they just solely rely on that superstar defense of theirs.
I think it's actually the opposite. I think if you just lean on Slombo, you run more often and you keep everything kind of locked down, that's where the advantage is going to come in that mid third to early fourth. You just need to keep it close, make it a game up to that point.
We shall see, my friend. We shall see. That philosophy definitely has helped the Apes get where they are. Shoot. Let me just quickly check and see this message. Make sure. All right. So Ace had some clients pop in, so he had to pop off. Depending on how long his meeting is, we'll see if he's able to rejoin us later. All right. So the Grape Apes defense gets another stop. It looks like they will punt. The House Party will punt.
Yep,
and we will go check out. Go ahead.
Say now for House Party's true star player, their punter.
So here we go.
Hunter
Bay
is
Area's
very
best.
good. He's really done a good job of pinning us back every time he's kicked.
Oh, yeah, the Apes punter. Are you saying?
The Apes punter is an accuracy punter. So he's the okay, we're not quite in field goal range. Pin them back at the one and let our defense try to get
Yep.
2 points.
Yeah, Elix has kind of shared that with us when he was been on earlier, because of the defense, the Grape Apes defense, and I think it's the same idea with Riff as well, correct? Where they rely
It's
heavily
very
on the
similar,
defense
yeah.
and field position. Excuse me.
It's a different way to get the same result. I will say there is, because of how locked down the defense is for the Apes, it's stronger in certain regards, but it doesn't have the flexibility. So what it does really, really well.
And here we go, a big turnover as quarterback Aiden Doss, looking for Hooli Fook, is intercepted by Anti-Wingman. Going to put the program in really good position for their
Hooks
second
are a
possession.
dangerous play to be calling this high up. It's great in rookie, but at this point, the plays you're going to see interceptions on are usually plays like hooks.
Play action, good for a first down. Handing off to Darnell Jefferson for an 8-yard gain. Going to bring up 2nd and 2. Back to the ground with Darnell. Some nice blocking, and he will find the end zone after a 6-yard dash for first touchdown.
So a lot of these plays being called right now, it looks like program is going to be getting incrementally more points. Like they're Bay Area's best builds. The way that their defensive plays are being called right now is leaving the guard open to pick up somebody open on the outside.
Yep, and as I said, I was up against the last minute. I was rushing to get my. I scouted out this game. I have a lot of respect for Smash Rock, and I know how bad he wants to beat us. So I was looking at the plays that they called on GLB2 Scout, right, and trying to find some weaknesses, some areas that we could attack. So I do agree with your statement. I think that is definitely, that's what I'm hoping anyways, that I built. If I had more time, I would have not done a stream, but just done a video recording and then put it up on YouTube and posted it to the forums so that people could see how I go about game planning, right? And I think one thing that I do well, I was talking with Elix, and I think that you and Elix, and some of the other guys are much better at building players than I am. I mean, I can build good players, but you guys really dig deep. I think my strength in this game is when it comes to scouting and game planning, finding weaknesses and attacking them. Yeah, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah, definitely look at it more as a football game as opposed to a numbers and arcade game, which is kind of the way I look at the game.
That's why I love this game. It's different than Madden football. I think it's more of a thinking man's game. It's like the chess version, versus Madden football, where Jesus, I can't stand a chance against my 11-year-old at Madden football because he's just button mashing and everything. Whereas he knows nothing. I love my son. He knows nothing about defensive formations and when to call a zone versus when to call man versus how many DBs you want to have on the field. And I play both games, but I like the thinking aspect of goal line blitz too.
That TE play there with play action, that could be a really dangerous play later in the game.
The one that's
single coverage on both the tight ends going deep.
I'm going to go back for 1 second. So we were talking about not the play out boot, right? Or
Nope, the one before it.
Oh, the flags, yeah. Um,
Yeah, if you watch that play call, the one before this one,
oh, this one,
this one right here.
yeah,
This is the one that's dangerous. If that quarterback is on the ball and throws it, that is gone maybe 50% of the
Yep.
time.
agreed. All right, let's see here. So I think did we watch this? Let's watch this play because it's third down. And
Yeah, that's a really solid set of plays.
yeah, like I said, Smash Rock. I mean, he knows his stuff, and he does a really good job, like watching like other games and learning from other games and talking to um, the more veteran coaches. He's legit. All right, so I'm going to see how this punt goes, and we're going to go back to our second game. All right, so back to House Party and Grape Apes. Grape Apes. There we go. A nice big run. First down yardage by Slombo number 5. Throw the screen pass.
This is definitely kind of what you're looking for in this style of offense. You're looking for the lot of little chips, just stay ahead of the chain, and just by virtue of the halfback himself, you're going to get a couple of those big plays.
Oh yeah, I've watched enough Grape Apes games that, it's almost like they kind of get you kind of like sleepy type thing with those run. Well, the number one, they pound the ball at you. A lot of plays, right? With Sambo number 5, those little chippy away plays, and then he'll bust a big one, for one or two times a game. He's good for at least one, if not two, depending on the competition. Could be more. Big runs. Nice defense there.
I will say the one thing that House Party really has going for them is they have very good defensive tackles, and that is going to cause issues in the run game. So instead of getting those 8-9 yard gains, sometimes they'll just tackle it for like a gain of 1.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting because I personally, unless I have extra flex or build, in the past my teams have been my DTs have been run stopping DTs. But there is in the meta now, there is, as you well know, pass rushing DTs. I always used to bring the pressure from the outside and clog up the inside. I'm seeing more teams bring the pressure from the inside.
So that's twofold. So the way you get pressure through the outside is you make pressure on the inside. By the initial hit and getting people pushed off, it pulls like a magnet, like the guards, the center, whoever's open, it pulls it to whoever broke free. You get 2 players that do that, and now all of a sudden you've got your ends coming completely free. Nobody's blocking them.
Yeah, unless I'm playing against someone with superstar, like combo, because if they're just a regular, you're a better dot builder than I am, so you can speak to this. But in my experience, the teams that have tried to build combo, non-superstar combo defensive tackles, right? It's like I'm trying to be good at both things, but I'm really not that good, especially against superstars, So if a team doesn't have superstar defensive tackles and I scout them and they are like pass rushing defensive tackles, I will just pound them with the run, inside run, inside and out all day long.
I think it's a mistake to build a normal defensive line, period. But especially in the case of you're saying for pass and run, I think you need to make a specialist of each. You need to make a 100%, or maybe like a 95% pass and a 95% run. and you play them next to each other. So you have like 30 technique and 30 power in whatever they're not specialized in. And then they're responsible for that role.
Yep, I totally agree. That's what I've done in the past. Because in the past I have not had superstar teams like the program. I might have had a team with the luxury of having 3 superstars on them, so I did exactly what you said. I had specialists to kind of combat that. Now we're seeing on this possession the fruits of the Grape Apes game plan. Slowly.
And this is against
grinding.
middle overload. This is for one of the best run plays in the game, and it was a 15-yard game.
Another first down. And this could be a touchdown. Vintage. That possession was vintage, like Grape Apes. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but from playing against you guys, that's kind of, and watching the games.
Nope, that's exactly what it is. Jam the ball down your throat for 4 yards a run, and then there's randomly 8 and 10 and 15-yard runs thrown in there.
And the thing that makes that even more impressive is because Grape Apes has chosen to invest their superstars on the defensive side, right? That offense, that Grape Ape offense, is like not a superstar offense. I mean, imagine how scary they would be if they were built, with a superstar offensive line with that type of game plan.
So one thing to know is because of the way that we are built, our superstar selection on offense is just the interior of the offensive line.
So you do have superstar interior then?
Yep.
I didn't take a close enough look. I thought all.
And the reason for that is it's more important for what we're doing because they are always going to be the ones that get to that next level. If you look at how it's lined up in the 3-man front, you're going to have both guards hitting the linebackers.
Oops. Well,
so, I mean, that's huge because then Slombo is not going to get hit. He's not going to have anything hitting him or even getting close to him, really, until it's a strong safety. Level. And you make one person miss with a strong safety, and he could just be gone.
Although we are seeing House Party move the ball.
They definitely have the right idea on offense. And that stuff like that should never happen. Throw into triple coverage and it just comes away clean. That's something that really does need to be looked at and changed in the game. It happens way too often right now, and a quarterback shouldn't even be making that throw if they're making their reads correctly.
Agreed. So they come back. House Party comes back with a touchdown.
It's a really good set of plays, a lot of good runs.
All right, we'll look at the kickoff here, and then we'll go back to the other game. And it's kind of
good. It's
going
to be interesting once that second quarter starts, how the plays that are being selected, because it looks like they're selecting kind of the same plays.
Oh, here we
and
go.
How that advantage is going to be after.
Touchdown. Nope. Still setting them up.
Slombo doing Slombo.
And again, this talk with Outerfist really bolsters what Elix has said in the last couple of streams about the importance of like not only building your players correctly, but before you even start building your players, having an idea of what you want for what you want for an offense and what you want for a defense, Because an example would be like if you're going to call man defense, it's foolish to waste points on zone abilities, So you don't have to like put points everywhere. Like it's very rare to have a completely balanced player be any good. So where I was going with that is the Grape Apes, they had a plan for what they want to do on offense, they have a plan for what they want to do on defense. They built players to fit those schemes. Oh, and I was talking too much and just pushing the button. How did House Party get the ball again? Was it a 1-2-3?
There was an interception. There was a pretty good grab
Oh, I'm gonna go back for a minute.
at
'cause I wanna
about
see
the 20-yard line.
Oh, there it was. Must be here. On the tight end out. A little bit of pressure. And it was intercepted by. Hey, look at that! Look who intercepted that ball.
And that's a very dangerous play. House Party called.
A Germ, cornerback. I think I know that guy.
That's a really dangerous play. Strong shift into TE out. More often than not, that's going to be a completion just because when you're blitzing, you're not getting pressure. One of Rift's only losses was me calling that, thinking it was going to be outside runs, and it ended up being all tight end passes. So, got to be careful with those.
Yeah, I think when we go back and look at the program game, nice house, Matt. When we go back and look at the programs game versus BABBs, I think that's a play that BABBs calls a lot, and I tried to exploit it. So we'll have to look at that when we go back to that game.
I heard strong shift.
Oh yeah, there was strong shifting.
One of the worst plays of all time if you don't call in the right situations.
That's what
we were just talking about.
That our first loss, I think, ever as Rip came at the hands of Adder to main Rampage due to strong shift.
You guys got to introduce yourself when you come into this. I'm thinking is this Elix?
Yep.
All right, cool. Good. Because Ace was with us, but then he had some clients coming, so he had to get off the call. So awesome. Yeah, we are blessed to have both Adderfist and Elix. These two are like one of, if not the power couple in GLB2 right now.
This helicopter is extremely bad.
Yeah, Adder is the intelligence and I am the wisdom.
The helicopter?
Isn't that the truth? I have all of the bad ideas, but some are good once in a while.
You guys complement each other well.
That's not.
So we got a couple of nice games, good games going here. Elix.
How much did it do? Was it a 2-hit? Yeah.
There's some really good looks for the Bay Area versus the program. It's definitely a game that both people have scouted.
Can't hit me. No, I said I'm sorry.
It's tight at the moment, that is for sure.
As things are going right now, I think probably program by at least 10 points, just based on a couple of the offensive plays. I think those are going to be the breaking point where you're going to get a couple really long runs that end up being touchdowns.
Yeah, we do have a few explosive players on the team. Just catching them, in the moment hopefully will be the difference.
And stuff like this makes me so nervous.
Matt.
I think, unfortunately for Smash Rock, his nail biter loss against the Grape the playoffs last season was kind of a poison pill for him because I think it made him realize that he needed more star power in his team. But I think in his hunt for that, he has unfortunately kind of sabotaged some pieces of his roster with low contracts and things like that have made him less effective actually than he otherwise would have been.
Yeah, I think he might have gone too far. I agree with you. He might have gone too far in that direction. Whereas, but what's interesting is it looks like BABBs and was it GAD's team right now? The strippers, whatever. Right? It looks like they kind of worked together to try to improve both teams.
Yeah, I had heard from GAD they were doing kind of a melding of the minds, which I think is a great idea for them. But they probably need to condense down to one team at some point in the future and take the best pieces from both.
Yeah, the other team that I coach at this level, the Screaming Red Devils, Mercs for Money, we had to kind of do a transition in the off season as well. 'Cause we were just cap strapped and didn't have a lot of depth, and we're having a much better season
Yeah.
this season.
Between the three of those teams, like there's the personnel in there somewhere to make like a top 10 bet team. It's just gotta get sorted out.
Yeah, well, I mean, my plans for the Screaming Red Devils is I originally created them, when the Screaming Eagles and Lorelei Beach and Deadpool's Mercs for Money, when they all kind of folded at one time.
Under.
So I
Here's
wanted
all
to.
these plays I was talking about with the free or FS Tiger coming in. It's
I hate FS
back
Tiger.
to back to back plays that all went long.
Yeah, I think he might have actually switched up his. When I scouted him, I saw more of that shift and I built my offensive game plan this time for what I'd seen him calling defensively. And I think I'm just kind of fortunate that in him, the switches that he made didn't rear up and bite me in the ugly head, because he definitely, I'm not recognizing some of these defenses from the scouting that I did on him.
I know that FS Tiger is a play that he routinely uses against the Grape Apes, and it's really it's pretty successful against us. But I don't think the running style of Darnell meshes against that play like it does against Salombo.
Darnell is better outside. I mean, he's better at getting the outside runs in the off tackle.
Yeah.
Versus the inside. He can run inside, but I think his best runs are off tackle runs.
Strong Shift and FS Tiger both are plays that are pretty exceptional at what they're designed to do, but both of them have the key flaw, of course, that if you don't stick to that script and you do something else, then those plays are very bad. Like they go from being exceptional to being complete liabilities, and you'll lose the game with them.
Wait, Quinn, what's your
like against the Strong Shift, I saw that he called that a lot, so I was like, okay, you want to attack the right side runs, right?
Right.
Leave the left side open. Then I switched from my strong side, OTs and sweeps to the weak side OTs and sweeps. Same thing with the screens.
Those are game planning plays. They're plays that they're not in your playbook game to game. They're plays that you add in specifically for a game, and they come right back out again.
Yep.
They're too easily exploitable.
I just copied my normal
bread and butter plays. Oh, look at that spin!
That was a beautiful spin earlier too. Yeah. Now
spin backwards for 5 yards.
Now Slombo number 5 is taking his game literally on his back. He's doing Slombo number 5 being Slombo number 5.
Wait, he has Edis access?
So we've seen Grape Apes score, followed by House Party score, followed by Grape Apes score. So, and honestly, I do think in order to win this game, I said it earlier that Grape Apes would need to score more than their 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on a good pathway to do that.
I'm gonna tell him that you want to give him admin.
As long as that game stays close, there's a chance. It's when you get down by those 2 scores with a team like this where you don't have the ability to come back.
Okay, get into your game.
Yeah, we're really similar to Nebraska in that regard, right? You get too far ahead of Slombo, and you won't be able to catch up.
Starting
the turnstile line on that one.
Was that must have been a fumble. Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't see it when I was playing.
There's 2 plays back to back where the offensive line was a turnstile. Aw.
There he goes. Oh, I thought he was getting away.
So tell me when you're there.
That's a huge tackle.
They were lucky that House Party was lucky not to give up any points, and even more lucky that that's a touchback. That extra 10 yards down here means a lot.
That's particularly why I put a lot of hands on my punters. That way they can get a better setup for those kicks.
Man, not even the second half yet, and Slombo number 5 is definitely not Slombo number 5. Sorry, the Grape Apes have definitely got the morale going on right now, offensively and defensively. They've got House Party in a bad spot.
Yeah, it's always tricky though, right? Because when the half rate sets and you get that huge morale in injection, it's really easy to get the spiral back on track again. Like it seems like in the second half, morale spirals way harder than in the first half. But so too, it's hard to get that spiral going again if, when on the very first drive, they're full on morale and stamina and, the offense is gelling. So it can be hard to get it back going sometimes.
Another Slombo number 5 touchdown run. I think that might be the final nail in the coffin. We are obviously going to watch the whole game, but I think that late first half score was definitely enough to do it, because unless House Party can get a big play here in this end of the second half,
Depending on what their consistency looks like, this.
Yeah,
could
you have to be
what they
scared
do.
because Slombo's a second half back, right?
Yep.
If in the first half he comes out and he's breaking runs on you, I don't think there's a way to win that game anymore.
and they are
I think the
not
way they
in
win is they just try to keep the game as close as possible and hope they get the ball last. That's really all they can hope for.
Yeah, it's just once the halfback starts running on you like this, then it's hard to keep the score close because they have a possession, 2-3 plays later, it's a score, your turn.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is like the worst case scenario right here. Because if this is one or two good runs in a row, then it really is the dagger.
Yeah. And in my experience, like we were talking, Adder and I were talking earlier about about DTs and specialists versus superstar DTs. And I don't think, in my experience, even when I had specialist DTs, run stopping DTs, right, they couldn't handle a stud like Slombo number 5. You really need to have superstars to match up with that superstar power, and sometimes even superstar DTs aren't enough.
Okay, you're in your video.
It's hard, right? Because you need all that break run block and you need all that whole ground and you still need some physicals. And then the part that's tough is you need tackling now. And on a normal DT, that's what gets neglected, right? You've got lowish tackling and you're asked to stop the power back. And you might be able to blow up that guard, sure, but then can you stop the actual halfback? Nah, probably not.
I think that's why we see defensive tackles just have the grip, hold on to them, and then have the linebacker come down and hit them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna join when you're joining.
There's one person currently playing, it says.
And I think too, as a DT, you're kind of disincentivized from going too high in power, right? Like having a 100 power tackling DT is kind of a cool idea, but how often are you actually going to make use of that? You don't have momentum. You only make 40 tackles maybe a season. Like, does it actually give you dividends to do that versus just investing in something else? So I think it kind of naturally slants them away from being able to stop power backs in some regard. They're much better at stopping elusive backs.
Yep. I think that's a great point that you bring up. So I hope that people that listen to this in the future really think about that point that you made. I mean, that's a case of too much of a stat not being beneficial because you could put it in other areas. We'd be better off to have your defensive tackle like slow down the run and then have like a power hitting middle linebacker or even a power hitting free safety coming in and doing that. I mean, I think that power tackling on a middle linebacker and a free safety is much better than investing all of that power tackling on defensive tackles. I would agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like use those points, just get better at beating that guard in the first place. Because when you beat that guard, then you open up a channel for that linebacker to come in and make a play. You know, let him make the tackle on the halfback. You worry about just getting the blocking interaction.
Yep.
The other thing that's
Logging up the
important
middle,
with the
giving
defensive line is on the defensive line, when you start a tackle, if you are picked up in a block, you'll lose the tackle.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
tackle grip is not as good as people think it is on the line in general.
Agreed. Oh, wait. What was it? Wait. What were you saying? Tackle grip, you said, is not as
Yep.
good?
So when you are holding or like you're being dragged, if you are picked up in a block while you are dragging somebody, it drops the drag. So instead of a high tackle grip, you just need a higher tackle to make the tackle faster.
Yeah, I don't invest a ton in tackle grip. I invest in tackle grip, but it's not like one of those where I would, put in a bunch of like power tackle. I do agree tackling is definitely more important.
Wait, Quinn, go to
And
HD.
as you said, it helps out against those elusive backs as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of
The one
studs,
place I do like tackle grip is against quarterbacks that have very high break sack, because while you are tackling them, it gives a chance for everybody else to come in as well, and they're probably going to break one or two of those players' sacks.
so we talked about Slombo number 5 being the number 1 halfback in this tier, in this group, even since rookie season, and then Darnell arguably being number 2, Corey Ross number 3, and rough draft here number 4 as far as running backs go. I think in this league. As far as wide receivers go, I'm pretty favorable of Julian Edelman here. It's the number 1,
Yeah, I would say
number 1 wide receiver with that play. Beautiful.
Yeah, I that's correct.
To Rob, arguably number 1 tight end. We'd have to look at that on the.
I might have last season had Sharman Gaines maybe for Bay Area, but I don't think he's had the production this season. He moved to the Day Strippers, and I think he hasn't been the same yet. A lot of that could have just been waiting for the chemistry to catch up, but
Yep.
Yeah, he hasn't been the same as the last season.
So yeah,
But I mean, in general,
our schemes, I don't think that Darnell will ever be able to beat Slombo number 5 for MVP, just because the volume. They're both really good halfbacks, superstar halfbacks. It's just Slombo number 5 gets a ton of volume. So when you're that much of a stud and needing that many touches, it separates you from the pack. Because I'm more of a balanced offense, I think that's helped Edelman and Gronkowski rise to kind of the top of their positions.
yeah, I agree with you. I think there's no way to know if Darnell or Slombo is better than one another right now, right? Like Slombo gets more work, but does that really mean anything? No. It's like it's down to just the success of your team, right? So I would argue that a halfback can be better than another halfback just because their team wins more, because that's what that team needs that halfback to do, right?
Yep.
It didn't even tell me how to do it. God damn.
Now we're pulling away.
Look at different videos.
I know I am.
I'm just gonna look at a.
I would say too, also it's because of the nature of the experimental nature of Slombo. Like he's built very particularly, so I don't think he's built correctly.
It's just still in the game.
Long term, he will be like by vet. It's gonna obviously we're gonna build wanted to have, but we built him a certain way on the way to vet because we wanted ability to always respec him and set him back to like a base point. which has like affected how we've leveled him up throughout the seasons, which made him less effective, I think, or hope, I guess, really, because I want him to do better than he currently does.
That's scary because he is and has been like
You have to
the
look at Game Pass.
offensive MVP every single season, and not just because of volume. I mean, volume is a factor, but he does what you built him to do, and really well. I can tell you, having
Basically,
played
we
against you
just-
guys and having a game plan against you guys, right? I know what a featured piece of your offense he is, and I
Right.
game plan my damnedest to try to slow him down. And
You may have to make a Game Pass that says
I'm only-
HD and
like I'm fortunate when that works because he still does his thing, even though it's like, okay, my goal is to shut his ass down.
Yeah, he's kind of meant to be the ultimate stress test for your secondary, right? Like, not only does he have power, but he also has elusivity. So, the same reasons why elusive backs are strong, he'll be strong. And at the same time, the same reason why power backs are strong, he'll be strong. Ideally, we don't know for sure, but hopefully that's how it works out.
A fever dream of an idea for a halfback that we've been hoping will come to fruition.
nobody kills Yellow Game.
They just didn't trust me, so that they kept on building him all neutral instead of following the build.
Trusting Ray, highly dubious. So you take his advice, trust but verify.
Yeah, after this program is run, I think I'm definitely, because of the chat and the Academy forum, I think I'm definitely going to build an offense around superstar halfback, 2 superstar tight ends, a lot of 2 tight ends, a lot of 2 tight end stuff. Depending
Just
on what
by
I
the
do
way,
on
too,
defense, maybe I'll throw in a superstar wide receiver as well. But I definitely want to have the 2 superstar tight ends and a superstar halfback.
And just by the way, too, to mention it, if anyone wants to copy Slombo's build, I would say he's probably better if he was faster. Like he's this slow as a joke, but a faster halfback with a little bit less combo is probably ultimately a lot better.
Yeah, after our competitive run against each other, I would definitely love to see Slumbo's final build, just so I can kind of compare it to my builds and learn from it. I hope.
I'll show it to you as soon as we hit vet.
Give him head admin.
So the one thing with Slombo being as slow as he is, I think he would make an amazing just interior back for play action teams. If all you need is that 4 yards and maybe you break one out longer, but if you reliably get those 4 yards.
I think too, though, worth mentioning is that Mr. Reliable is so much better than brace or impact in a balanced offense, that you could make it better just by doing that, right? Like for what you're talking about, Mr. Reliable will be much, much better than brace or impact when you're doing a balanced offense and you just need to always get this amount of yards.
Ooh, they intercepted Joe. Yeah, I'm thinking
That's a
of,
heck of
like I
a
said, that next team I make, I want the superstar fullback that will be power, right, for running inside, and then the superstar halfback would be elusive for running on the outside, and then I'd have the 2 tight ends because, that's one thing that only somebody that's playing for a long time really builds good enough and my solutions to the tight ends, especially superstar tight ends. The majority of the safeties out there can't handle a superstar tight end, in my experience.
The only thing you really have to be aware of with that style of offense is zone teams. That's going to be a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good point.
Okay, but I think I know.
There are some plays that still work, right? Like I said, halfback under, the blocking tight end goes to the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
But
One of my
most most 2 tight end plays stick in the middle of the field, though, right? So
Yes!
Yep.
He did it! He did it, Quinn!
I mean, I've found that if you have if you have a mix, if you have a mix of that outside stuff, right, and runs, then you can get away with throwing a little bit inside. I mean,
oh yeah, it's not like it's impossible. It's you're increasing your risk severely to do it. So if the body of your playbook is comebacks and hooks and things like that, like you're just setting yourself to be intercepted sooner or later. It's just how cruel do the RNG gods that day want to be to you.
but again, too,
Barry gets on the board here.
Yep, Bay Area's first 3 points of the game. We'll see with 2
I was
minutes left if the
expecting them to
program can.
do significantly better on the offensive side. They've gotten to different points on the field, and it seems like their offense has 1 or 2 just sputters and falls apart.
Yeah, but this kind of falls in like what Elix was talking about last time. Like in this defensive game, I didn't call a lot of. You've been watching the play calling. I think I have like in each formation. I think I have a inside run defense, a outside run defense, and 1 pass run defense. So for each formation, right? And that's actually really because I think only time I'm calling inside run, tagging inside run on these guys is 3rd and short. It's mostly
That was a really ambitious
You will
pass
never
there.
find where we are.
it's mostly that the plays that get called the most are the ones that I've tagged the pass run, and that's only 1 of those per formation. So Elix and I had talked about when you do that in a playbook, right? As the game goes on, right?
Yeah.
If you're not up ahead, like the program is right now, that could come back and bite you in the butt. So I'm fortunate that I think we are going to see Bay Area's best score more in the second half. My offense is a lot more diverse than my defense, so I don't anticipate me offensively having that problem with them. I think we'll be able to score. So I'm glad that we have a 25-point lead right now. Might need that in the second half.
The other thing is he does have a power back, which is better in the second half and later as well. So, like, just the later in the game it gets from, the better he's going to be.
You just gotta hope that if that's going to be the case, his tactics don't have trailing point that's set too low.
Yeah,
I think that's something that a lot of coaches get themselves in trouble with, is they set like their trailing tactics like, okay, I'm behind 14 points, let's just go full pass. When really you kind of need to pump the brakes. Like sometimes you're behind because of, the pass, for instance. Going full to it is just going to make the hole get, deeper and deeper. I would say for most people, if you use trailing tactics, like just don't at all, right? Like set them to 200 points or they need to be, but trust your game plan and don't adjust it. But there are definitely coaches out there who use them and they really just get you in trouble.
I love my house.
Yeah, it depends on my competition, against most competition, like you said, the trailing tactics, I set it to like huge, like max. So it's like never going to go into play, just going to stick with my game plan, like you said. But, if there's a team that like you guys, and I know I've got to, take out all the tricks,
I'm
and
inverted. My thing is inverted.
Sure.
I will set them.
I think the thing that makes them less useful than they otherwise could be is that, if you're trailing tactics or, okay, I'm behind by 14 points, let's go full pass. Let's say it works. Well, now you're behind by 7 points. Well, now you're going to stop passing because you're no longer trailing by 14 points.
Yep.
I think the problem with trailing tactics is that it's a complete flip. Once trailing tactics activates, that should just be your tactics from then on out. It shouldn't deactivate once the condition is no longer met. That's what makes them less useful and more harm than good, I feel like.
I totally agree. I've had that same thought.
I think you can get away with it on teams like the Grape Apes if you set it for like 8 points and you have screens as your trailing tactic, for example, when you're very run heavy already.
Yeah, I think there's some things there. It's just what you're really hoping for is that. And so I'll say when it comes to tactics, either should be very, very low or they should be like high will never activate, because what you're hoping for if you set them low is that you're starting to morale spiral. So you change your playbook up, you get a scoring drive, and then hopefully that rights the ship morale wise, and then that'll let your regular game plan be functional again.
Exactly.
So we are back to the Green Apes and House Party game. House Party with a nice first down. Now on first down, incomplete. Bring it up 2nd and 10.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit closer than the program versus BABBs at the moment. But I think that the Apes are solidly in control at the moment. Here's another.
So real quick, I'm going to hop out, guys, but it was fun having a
All right.
chat
Is that
again.
Adder that's leaving us or Elix?
Felix. I got to do some stuff, but I'll keep listening.
Cool. Catch you later, my friend.
Thank you.
House Party's Zilla is there one of the superstar receivers? If not the only superstar receiver, he's good. He's kind of like an unsung hero. I don't know that he gets the attention that other players get. Although you know what, I don't know that receivers and tight ends still get the love that superstar halfbacks get.
Well, superstar halfbacks are like the foundational piece of good teams. Superstar wide receiver is kind of the counterpoint to it, right? Tight ends, if you superstar it, it's your bread and butter, your safe pick. It beats up man teams. You're still gonna run the ball a bunch, but if you're gonna add that superstar wide receiver, now you can actually start to go after zone teams because you have that deep pass to the wide receiver, and you have the inside run from the halfback as well.
I totally agree. Like for me, like I try to get my superstar halfback lined up first, then a superstar tight end, and then if I can fit it in there, depending on where my other superstars are, I really do love having a superstar wide receiver. Although I really want to add that superstar power fullback to a future build.
We use one on Riff, and I don't hate it. I will say that it's very, very functional for what we want. Also known as the weakest point of every team that we're a part of.
That's what Helix has said.
A longer road.
Longer roads.
That's huge for them. That is the other reason why our punter punts the ball straight up in the air, and then there's no return.
You should
So
have stomping.
Right.
Yes, you can stop on their corpse.
I'm gonna add punching.
He's
Are
awesome.
you guys teaming?
Yeah.
Nice run by Slombo, number 5.
I know where you are, Glenn.
Another nice run for the first down. Gets the ball to midfield.
I am better. He's shooting me.
that's huge.
I'm not letting that personally slide.
Yep.
Yellow gamer is a dead no. Yellow gamer.
So did you see what happened on the line on that play right there?
Let me go back and on this one or the previous one?
Previous one.
Previous one. We'll go back one more. Hole. Yeah, there was a huge hole there for him to get up to the second level.
So that's what an interior line does. Do you see there's the pancake on the line, and then the middle linebacker gets pancaked as well? That's one player he has to break, and then he's good.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
The OG one behind.
And Slombo breaking one tackle is kind of
You're not
expected.
there, Glenn.
Like every time he runs, you expect one broken tackle.
Oh, yeah. Die. I'm about to shank you.
Now the morale is just starting to
He's
kick
right
in.
there.
It
I
kind of
see
looks
you.
like
You don't see
off.
me because you're blind. I'm kidding.
Really
Yeah,
slow.
this is where it starts to slide usually.
Better aim,
Yep.
bro.
Yeah, I mean, that was like a big play on the special teams return for House Party. Going to amp them up a little bit. Grape Apes just kind of come back with a slow, methodical drive. It's like, and go back to having a 2-score lead.
You don't know Arsenal. You do?
If they can't stop it, it's one of the best offenses to run. It gives your defense plenty of time to get rested, set where they're nice and all
Where
super
are
ready to
you?
go. And it just wears down the other team
Trying
over
to-
time.
You got me so low.
Ask Yellow Gamer if he wants his own house.
Back to Zilla for a first down. Ooh, got lucky there. I thought that was going to be a stop. Interesting. Another first down.
Admin. He said
Pressure.
sure, and also you gave me
That's
admin.
easily pushing them out of field goal range.
I'm just playing you.
Did you fall through the world?
Picks up 2 yards, but it's going to be third and long. Not a position you want to be in against this Grape Apes defensive line, and that right there is why.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah, just a turnstile. Just the way that defensive line is made. Super fast off the snap and immediate spin.
That would be amazing.
Oh, almost. Damn it.
Yeah.
I almost got it. My punter screwed up just a little bit.
That would have been sweet.
That would have been a
if it
good
was
one.
on Matt, can you turn Quinn down, please, a little bit? So for those that are listening to this now and on the videos later on when I post them on the forum, again, I will apologize. I live in a very small house. It is obviously summer. Both my son and I are home. So I'm trying to stream, and he's playing online with one of his cousins. So that's what you hear in the background. Again, my apologies, but it's the best we can do.
Quinn, you'll never.
I think it's fine. At least it wasn't your dog with the bottle this time, right?
Yeah,
You'll
thank
never
God. I
fight.
told you that. Wait, did I tell you that he took like one of those full water bottles and? Yeah, I think I told you that story, right?
Yep.
Huh?
All over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Oh, whoops! After this drive, I got to go back to the other game.
Quinn, I see you. Gorilla balls. Imagine
I could
you-
only imagine what it would feel like to, like in real life, play against a player like Slumbo number 5. He just keeps running at you, and you just have to keep tackling him. And by the end of the game, you were just flipping exhausted.
I mean, he's like Slobo Jackson, right?
Yeah. That would have been a cool name.
Yeah, my dad plays.
Slobo Jackson. Yeah, which goes to show actually.
What?
I can remember when power backs were like the big thing, and it was like,
You were?
okay, like 100 conditioning, 100 balance, 100 power tackle,
On
and
my
like
screen,
as
you
much
were
speed as you possibly could have. Although Slumbo number 5 has kind of made a show that you don't need to have max speed on a power back.
Yeah, this was
Where am I?
kind of a joke. Like, how slow can we make a halfback
How slow can you go?
and have him still be
How do
successful?
you know I was at Matthew's house?
Yeah, and Slumbo number 5 is definitely successful.
Shoot up.
All right, after this, we're going to go back to the program.
Quinn.
We'll watch the
Please
third
tell
quarter
me
and
you
fourth
didn't go
quarter
to
here,
my
and then
house.
finish up with the fourth quarter of Slumbo number 5's Grape Apes. And intercepted by free safety
Yes,
Roland
you got it.
James.
That might be it then. That's already
Where'd you-
already pretty lopsided, but
Yeah,
Where'd you hit me from, Quinn?
I don't think this will be the last time we'll see the program score, but I think that unfortunately for Smash Rock's BABBs team, it's probably over.
I think it's just a case of the game planning being lopsided in one direction is really what this is. Because the players themselves are performing fine. It's just one or two plays that don't match up well.
Yep. And that's what I try to do when I game plan. Put my boys in the best position to win.
What you do to Yellow Gamer? Ow! Ow!
Seeing sure-footed fire on there, that is one thing I did look at Slombo and think instead of spin, sure-footed would have been an interesting option.
I love watching those spin back spin when they spin. It makes some pretty cool animations, but sure-footed is, in my experience, pretty nasty.
So I think my favorite spin is we were doing Force Science, which was a 4-4 inside Tigers only defense. And we ran it 1,400 times during the season. And there's a spin back who goes just past the line. The defensive tackle comes free and hits him and shoves him like 10 yards downfield in the direction he wants to go. And the push is so fast that he's just completely free.
Nice. I've seen some where, especially Corey Ross is the one I see spin a lot. He'll get like met in the backfield and he'll spin back 5 yards and then he'll be able to run by the guy that tried to tackle him.
Yeah, I think a build like Slombo doesn't necessarily need an active essay. He could just live off of his stats and really good passive essays.
Ragdoll.
So BABBs is moving the ball, kind of like I expected them to in this second half.
That makes me so nervous seeing a quarterback take off like that. That is just a recipe for disaster against a team that's looking for it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's why one reason why I love having strong safeties and one or two linebackers that are heavy hitters. Make them pay.
Yeah, it's almost better to run a 3-4, like DE flats or something, to spread everybody out just to force that run and to hit them repeatedly with the fumble maker.
Oh, and they got a touchdown on us.
Yeah. Okay.
You need to play basically lockdown perfect football to have any chance at all, and even then it's a long shot.
Yeah. Like I can't see that happening against a team like the program or the Grape Apes, you know.
The 0.5% chance or whatever it would be.
Oof, although there's another interception. It would be mighty impressive if BABBs was able to pull it off. Because
what they
much
need
like
to do. Now they need to convert.
Much like the Grape Apes, the program haven't had a lot of losses over their lifetime.
Those plays like that right there are what they need. Those long throws where they can try to get something to work.
Yep. Look at this.
Because you're not really bringing pressure, not in the same way.
No, I'm a very much bend, don't break. You know, I have guys that can, but we don't we don't blitz a lot. We don't blitz much at all, especially against teams that I have a ton of respect for.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion if you're not coming with 5, you're not playing football. So
I've tried to find good plays where he's gonna look at. There's like 5 guys on the line, right, on the offensive line. So I need to bring 5. I need to bring 5 guys. I just can't find plays that bring 5 guys that I like that that does coverage. Oh, there is a counter and there is a stop, 3-yard loss.
Counters are a problem. If a team has any idea of that coming or they're built for stopping the run, that's going to cause problems. The biggest thing counters are good for, in my opinion, are as a counterpoint to running quarterbacks.
I am joining. I said you joined.
A running quarterback, if you have a speed back, like you can't defend all three of those plays with the same plays. And some of them are just automatic touchdowns when they're called. So
Phew, we needed that. We needed that first down. Back to Julian.
that was a really good awareness on the offensive line to pick that up.
Right there was a play that I don't usually run, but because of his play calling, I was like, all right, gonna throw it to the weak side. Pitch to the weak side, sorry. Nice defense.
Yep, you definitely got some good calls in there with the scouting. I wish head fake was better.
You wish what?
Head fake was better.
Oh,
There was a
yeah.
head
Yeah.
fake there from the tight end, and it did nothing.
Yep.
The player
I've
sat
made,
right on it. And
I've made head fake receivers and tight ends in the past, and always was hoping to get more out of that SA.
He gave you any Robux?
We'll take 3. We'll take 3 points.
it puts it out of reach, in my opinion.
And it is the 4th.
Like they have to score, have an immediate turnover, and score again to even have a chance to try to come back. Yeah.
3 touchdowns to tie it.
This is the case that everything has to go perfect for them. Like there's no wiggle room now.
That's the play that's been killing us, though. I think wide receiver flag.
Yep, because you're only bringing 3. There's a wide open man basically every time. Oh, maybe not wide open. NFL
Ooh.
open.
Anti-wingman with the interception in the end zone, though. Unfortunate for BABBs.
That'll probably do it. Run the ball until it's time to kneel.
Yeah, they're probably just going to see my normal, because I was talking about, I don't know if it was with you or with Elix earlier, that like this kind of like way up offense or way behind defense kind of stuff. If I've got a game plan that's working, I just tend to set my settings to stick to the game plan. So I don't know that we'll see that.
My trailing tactics are set to 300 points. So the only time you ever do trailing tactics short, like I was saying, is that super short run game with the screens.
Screwed up his camera.
Because if you're stopping the short run game, you're probably tagged run.
I tend to think of
there we go.
the far behind tactics is the place where you put like your absolute bread and butter plays, because you just need the boost of confidence to try to come back.
I've thought about.
I can see that
I don't know why I
working.
haven't done that. I've definitely thought about that. It's also a good place, like where, like if you, especially like if you do that, like if you're way up type thing, you know, you could put like a different set of plays in there, so that when someone goes to scout you, right, if they're not like really good at disaggregating the data, right, they just look at the whole data. That can throw their tactics off. Though I wonder I
Sus?
wonder how many current players
Sus?
like actually scout and game plan to that level. I know I do. I love that part of the game, the scouting and the game planning.
When I do game plan, I go that in depth, but I have not game planned in a few seasons. Alex usually takes the game planning stuff, and I only kind of fill in when it's needed. So pretty much anytime I game plan, it can be up to an hour of game planning depending on what game it is. Championship, there's more, obviously. If it's just a ladder game or something, it's like 15 minutes.
Yep.
When I met you in the summer.
It's gonna stop here, boys. Yeah. I was quick to click that. 4 minutes left in this game. Program with the ball and a handsome lead.
I think if his quarterback was not running, he would have been doing significantly better. There's been multiple times where he's taken off and ran. And if he had just stayed in the pocket for about 2 more seconds, there would have been somebody wide open coming out of his zone.
Yeah, because when they've moved the ball, it's been in those nice deep plays, out wide. Those sideline bomb kind of plays.
That's something that I hadn't even thought about before, but that's true because of how deep you have to attack. It's better if you have a quarterback who scrambles to kind of tune back their scrambling percentage when they're facing his own team. Be way more tempting for them to take off and be way less beneficial.
Yeah, it's definitely better to just kind of stand pat and throw against teams that aren't bringing pressure.
Darnell loves those screens.
Winnie. Do you want to play Fortnite?
Yeah, I'm very happy with how my offensive game plan worked out against these guys.
Do you want to play?
Yeah, three
Did what I intended it
plays.
to do.
3 plays in particular really stand out that you took advantage
You want
of.
to play multiverse?
The free safety blitz, the middle overload,
I'm
and
telling
then
you,
the
I'm
double
so
DB
good
blitz.
at multiverse now.
You scored or had 10 plus yard carries on pretty much every one of those plays that's been called.
Gonna put him in another 4th and 5 here. And not gonna have enough. So they're gonna give the ball back, and we are just gonna eat the clock, and then we're gonna go back and watch the end of the Grape Apes game versus House Party. And let's do
Taking
that.
the victory formation, and I can tell you now that Bay Area's best builds aren't coming back for this one.
Nope. And at this stage of the game, like we said earlier, over here too, it kind of looks like I don't see House Party coming back against Grape Apes. They might be able to put a few more points on, but 3 scores with 10 minutes left in the game against the Grape Apes.
How much 10Ks did you see?
I don't see it
I
happening.
think it'll be maybe 2
10
scores, but
KW.
it'll just be pound the rock for a timeout.
Yep.
Heck of a run, though.
Nice.
Look
I
out.
saw like 7 probably.
I like to see Rough Draft. I know that I forgot the agent that has Rough Draft, but he's had a superstar halfback on one of my teams back in the day. I forget which team it was, but I mean he's a good guy. And I know Rough Draft, the original Rough Draft, was a good running back. It's just he's kind of overshadowed by Slumbo number 5, Darnell, and Corey Ross, I think.
He's a good back. There's not a lack of tackling on the team. He just broke 3 tackles there. But that's an issue. Can't be passing on 3rd and long against the Grape Apes.
No.
Okay, Glenn, I'm almost done. I'm just gonna tell him that I'm gonna play GTA soon.
Yeah. That's kind of my
That's
strategy
not an
with you
advisement.
guys is don't get into 3rd and long because if you're not going to throw long on, you're not going to have time to throw long against Grape Apes when they know you got to throw long. And then if you just try to run it, actually, although I don't know, it's weird. I try to avoid it altogether. 3rd and long, I try to avoid it altogether against you guys because it's like, all right, I'm not going to call in the past. It's like I'm not going to call a pass 3rd and long against a team like Grape Apes. So that's going to run the ball. So they're going to run tag me. And yeah, 3rd and long is basically you're going to punt the ball. So I just go about it differently than you guys. You guys kind of chip the yards away with mostly with Slumbo number 5. You have some other weapons in your arsenal as well. Don't get into that 3rd and long situation.
Just enough to keep people honest. That's really what the rest of the offense is. If you hard key in on Slombo, you're going to get killed in the pass.
Yep.
And that's kind of the opposite of how most teams approach things. They have the halfback so that they can
Here he
pass.
goes. Another Slombo number 5 touchdown.
Straight through middle overload. That's a problem when you see that. Saw one of those early in the game, and as soon as you know middle overload isn't going to cut it, then you're going to have problems.
Yeah, I mean, I know like top teams kind of scheme to try to take middle overload out of teams' defensive playbooks, by running the screens, running some outside stuff, running some off tackle stuff, and it, just like not just running inside, but we're actually running some stuff that beats that because it is such a good play against the inside run, but it's definitely weak against some other stuff.
It's weak against a fast halfback, basically.
Yeah. And the fact that you can run a power back into that's actually really terrifying if they're doing well.
You came back one.
And again, this is, like I said, the bread and butter is Slombo. You get towards the late part of this game, the final 5 minutes, and
yeah, I mean, it's like I think of myself like, man, if I was in real life having to play against a team like the Grape Apes and face off against Slombo number 5 by the end of the game, right? You were just so demoralized.
Okay.
You're so out of energy, and you're just like, shoot us, put us out of our misery.
the cornerbacks lay on the ground before they get a chance to hit them.
Yep. Like in what was that Adam Sandler Grown Ups, right? Where Kevin James Kevin James, right? I think it's Kevin James, fakes the like pulling his hamstring. oh, I gotta sit out. Because he's just so exhausted.
Yep, he's like, I've conceded the game. I'm good. Just put me out to the side.
And that is no disrespect meant to House Party.
It's just the way the apes are built. It's literally just you run into the ground. Like I said at the very start, you just try to keep the game close, and then there's a chance to win with the apes. And when you get ahead like that at the start, or you start seeing those runs, then it's very, very difficult to come back because you're going to be demoralized. You're going to be completely wore out. And now you're going to see super far behind, and we're just going to keep running. And it's going to just keep taking time off the clock and make it harder and harder and harder to come back.
And intercept the ball when you try to throw it.
Another 4 wide hooks. Those hook plays are really, really good early, but as soon as you have the awareness to see those, they're really dangerous.
So House Party will get the ball one more time with less than 30 seconds left in the game, and a huge. Oh, this would be something good for them, although it's not going to make a difference in the game. Still, two special teams touchdowns for House Party. Gives them a little bit of bragging rights, although what matters the most is that the Grape Apes will come away victorious. Victorious.
Yeah, the special teams. I don't know what we're doing that's causing issues with them, but we're just always seems to cause problems.
There we go. So there it is, and that's going to set up. Let's see here. Let's go to. Come on. I want to look at the schedule. I do think we have a program versus. I think we got one more program versus. No, maybe we don't. Did we play each other twice? Wow, I thought we were going to get. I guess we'll hopefully see program versus Grape Apes in the playoffs, because I think that we might have played you guys
I
once.
mean, if you go to the league, you can check.
Well, I'm just looking at. Oh wait, can you see on the I'm on my page right now? Can you the programs page? Can you see the programs page, or is it still showing something else in the stream?
Nope, it's the page that you're looking at right now for the
Okay.
program.
Yeah, I mean I can see that our last one we shan't look at that. We kind of got the best of that one, and I'm not about rubbing it in. I guess we only saw each other. Yeah, we only see each other once during the regular season.
Yeah, if you go to the league page, you can generally kind of see how stuff is shaking out at this point. There's 3 games.
That was week 10, so right. I think. Yep, that was week 10. So the program has a 2-game lead on House Party in the Alpha Division. Grape Apes have a 3-game lead on Day Shift Strippers in Beta Division.
So right now, it kind of looks like it's program is 1 seed. Someone from Gamma is the 4 seed. And then House Party as 3.
Yeah, because I don't see. I mean, I think House Party would have to implode. Let's see who House Party has left. House Party has Nebraska, the program, and the Piranhas. So, well, they can beat the program, although
If
I
they
don't know
beat
that
the
they have
program,
yet.
there is a chance that they can take the division, but it's very close.
Yeah, the last time they played the program on July 18th, the program won 82-41.
That's an issue with their defensive calling then, but you never know. They might fix that.
Maybe. I'm not trying to brag. Like I said, I have a ton of respect for them. And I'm going to be nervous going into that game because they do have the potential to beat us. The program, so we know that they have House Party left. We get the Piranhas and the Cornhuskers. So
And the
again, we've got-
Cornhuskers are primarily CPU on the defense, so I do believe they are anyway.
So I mean, it is possible that the program can go undefeated in league match this regular season. I'm not too worried about the Piranhas, right?
Well, actually, 2001 is their full team. My bad. There's too many Cornhusker teams. I can't remember them all.
The thing with being on top for both the program and for the program and Grape Apes is like everybody's gunning for you when you're sitting up top, right?
Every single game is like a playoff game. You got to beat the person in first.
The Apes have coming up Santa Fe, Bears, Cheetahs, strippers. So yeah, I don't see any of them. No disrespect, I don't see any of them giving Slombo, the Grape Apes, a challenge. I don't see any big threats there. Um, so looks like the Apes will be only have their one league loss to um, the program, and it should be interesting. Let's see. This is probably the biggest battle here is for Gamma, right? Between Bay Area and the Mercs.
Yeah, even records is going to come out of the last couple games. I think House Party and Program I would also consider really close because that's one slip up away from flipping. Like that's really close still, especially since you play each other.
They do play each other, and House Party plays against the Mercs. No, sorry, wait. No, the Mercs have House Party. Sorry, I'm looking at the Mercs schedule right now. Out of their last 4 games, they have House Party and Best Builds, BABBs. So they're going to play both of those guys. And then I don't know if you heard last time, I was telling Elix, right? When the Mercs played against Grape Apes, I called that exact same game plan. The program versus Apes, right? And Elix told me that he didn't change anything up for his program. I was that game either, and so the program handily won their game. Lucky RNG, and the Apes pretty soundly beat the Red Devils. So let's see who Bay Area had left. So they've got Nebraska. So that just they've got because yeah, it's going to be interesting between those two teams. Fighting out for Gamma. Who is it that I wanted to see? House Party's last 4 games. We know they've got at least one tough one. No, they got 3. I think that House Party will beat the Screaming Red Devils. I'm going to do my best not to let that happen, but I do think that I'd give
I
a
think
slight
the
edge to
roster
House
is
Party.
just stronger for House Party. I think their halfback in particular is going to be hard for Red Devils to win with. House
Depends
Party is
on which
running back.
Nebraska shows up, and depends on how they play against the program.
Yeah, it's definitely like not locked in yet. There's a chance.
Yep. Excellent. That means we're gonna have some good. We're gonna have some good streaming material over the next couple of weeks.
Honestly, all these House Party games these next 2 weeks are very good. Cornhuskers and Program are both very good teams, and they actually have implications for what's going on too.
So I'm going to take a 10-minute break. I'm going to end the stream now, put a 10-minute break, and then I'll come back on to stream the 3:00 game. Right? We said the 3:00 game was LSU versus Church of the Holy Zone. Right?
Look forward to 2 very different zone teams.
Yeah, we've got to see last stream. We got to see the Church. We have not got to see LSU yet, so I'm looking forward to streaming one of Cyber / GE's games. So we can look at that. We know what we're looking at. We know what we're going to see when we watch the Church of the Holy Zone. I think it's going to be a lot like these 2 games that we watched in this hour. LSU is a good team, but I think like the program and Grape Apes, the Church is the better team. So I expect we're going to see kind of similar results to these 2 games. But with that said and done, I need to take a quick 10-minute break, get something to drink, maybe a snack, hit the bathroom, stretch, get re-energized for this next game. So feel free to stay in the chat if you want, the Discord chat. Probably have to suffer listening to my son in the background, but and I will start the stream back up at 3:00. Thanks for joining us.
Sounds good. Feel free to join in when we get to that point.